Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the Almighty B-Live, the Money Man, Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative, Eddy Kool. And without any further ado, here they are, the Sports Bros. Hey, what's going on, world? This be your boy, Eddy Kool, a.k.a. the HOC. And guess what, y'all? This is episode number 49 of the Sports Bros Podcast. That's right, 49 episodes you've been listening to. You've been following, liking, loving, recommending, subscribing. You've been doing it. Thanks for the support. That's all we got to say. Thanks for the support. But before I go any further, y'all know I'm never, ever, ever by myself. I got two of the world's greatest co-hosts. All right? Yeah, I said it. World's greatest co-hosts. We got the Almighty B-Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? Man, I'm flattered. You are halfway right, because I am one of the world's greatest. The other guy I don't know so much about. I mean, he's gonna get on here and he's gonna say that we're lucky to have him, and I don't know. I've been checking my lucky stars, and I'm just playing. Man, let's get this thing crack-a-lackin', man. I'm glad to be here.
All right, speaking of the other guy, the Money Man, Scottie D.
You are lucky to have me, because I am one of the world's great co-hosts. And happy March, my dudes, and to all the listeners, happy March. Finally got the January, February months out behind us. And this is one of my favorite months, probably my favorite month, the month of the madness.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, Scottie D. And you know what? That's a perfect segue, because guess what we're about to lead off with? We're going to lead off with college basketball. And if you've been paying attention, there's been a whole lot going on in the world of college basketball. Duke, they done lost 2 out of 3. They lost to University of Virginia over the weekend. And I think it was Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday. They lost to Wake Forest in overtime in Wake Forest, 113-101. Yeah, they lost 2 out of 3. And guess what? They've fallen out of the top 10. And then we got FSU. They upset Clemson. Then we got Baylor. They're taking another slide as they got beat by TCU. And Maryland, they lose to Michigan State. Fellas, March Madness, it ain't even conference tournament time. It's going crazy. Scottie D, what we got going on, man? What's going on? What's happening in the world of college basketball?
Well, I haven't, as you said, if you haven't been paying attention, I haven't been paying attention a lot. But what I have been noticing is that we're 2 weeks away, less than 2 weeks away from Selection Sunday. That means we got a couple more regular season games left, then championship week. And then Selection Sunday begins the madness. But what I'm noticing is that other than Kansas, it doesn't look like there's another clear-cut number one seed. You know, there's going to be 4 number one seeds going in. And usually by now we have kind of some idea of who we think it's going to be. But when I'm looking at Kansas, obviously they're going to, and unless something goes drastically crazy, they're going to be probably the top seed overall. Gonzaga most likely will end up being one of the number one seeds. And then after that, it gets kind of hairy. Baylor lost 2 Saturdays in a row after they hadn't lost in months. Mm-hmm. San Diego State has only the 1 loss. I don't know if their conference schedule has merited a number one seed. Maybe. Dayton is at number 3. I didn't even know Dayton had a good team this year, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Florida State, like you said, they had a good win, but then turned around and lost to who was it? Was it Dabo's team? Did Dabo beat Florida State?
Wow,
Dabo.
They lost to the Dabos, I believe. And then the team that I'm looking at, I think that's getting hot at the right time is Kentucky. That's a team I think they get hot when their conference tournament here. They're going to be sitting at one of the number one seeds. So still, I mean, there's still a lot to be decided, because we know that the conference tournaments have a lot of bearing on how this shakes out. But right now, it looks like Kansas is the team to beat. Obviously, they're the number one, and it's not even really close. It's unanimous that they're the number one. And then it looks like you don't get to Duke till you're down to number 12. So, the normal suspect, the usual suspects are not filling out the top 5 like they usually are, other than Kansas. Gonzaga usually is up there, but you usually see a Duke, a North Carolina, the last few years of Villanova, and you just don't have that clear cut number 1. So that's what makes this so fun, man. I love March Madness. I love I love filling out the brackets and watching the selections. I love all this stuff. So I'm into it, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to really start focusing on this stuff and take you guys money on the March Madness brackets this year.
Taking money? What?
Yeah.
Have you heard this? He told us
I heard him. I hear what he's saying. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to be honest with you right now. I am not looking forward to brackets. I'm not. Because I have no freaking clue. Usually you have a good idea, like Scottie D was saying, that you can see some cream always rises to the top, and certain teams that you have a good feeling they're going to make a deep run into the tournament. Man, I'm telling you right now, I have no clue. I'm going to tell you something. This might be a spoiler. I say North Carolina wins the ACC tournament and throws everything out of the loop.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Real? Wow.
Because the reason why I say that is we're talking about the same North Carolina team that only lost to Duke by 2. They have the talent on the team. What is there to say that they just said, you know what? Screw the regular season. Ain't nothing you can do about it now. But just go into this tournament. You're gonna have to play an extra 2 days anyway, and just you're playing with house money at this point. Screw it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that playing that extra couple days. I mean, right now North Carolina is at the bottom of the conference. They are 5-13 in the conference.
Yeah.
That's a tall order to ask, because the top of the ACC is actually not that bad. I mean, they're not the ACC. The highest ranked team right now is Florida State at 7, but after you get to that, you got 4 more teams, in the top 25. You got Louisville, and Virginia, who seems to be peaking here at the right time too. I thought Virginia didn't get off to as great a start as the defending champions. They lost some people, but that's a tall order to ask for them to try to go beyond 2 days in. I just don't think that they have the talent to do that.
And speaking of the ACC, I mean, that's what we're sorry, Eddy Kool. Well, you from here, so you lived in ACC country.
Yeah, I get it.
But guess what? The last bracketology I've seen, the whole little prediction and everything, only has 4 ACC teams making the big dance. When have we ever seen that? We've never.
Well, that again, there's still a lot to be decided there too, because anything can happen. I mean, those top 4, they're all going to be in, from Virginia up. Those top 4 teams are going to be in. But you never know. You never put it past Boeheim and Syracuse to get hot. They've done that more than once before, where they've gotten hot and won a couple games. If they beat 1 or 2 of those teams, maybe they get in that large bid. They're only 16-13, so they're probably going to have to win that tournament altogether, which, again, is possible. You just never know what's going to happen. But if one of those other teams wins the tournament, then you're going to have a 5th ACC team. But it's not like years past where you've gone all the way down to like having 8 or 9 teams from that conference in. It's the mid-majors are the ones that are starting to – they used to see mid-majors get like 1 team in, and now they're starting slowly the last couple of years to see a mid-major conference get a 2nd team in there, where you didn't used to have that as much. So, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that your best players go to these big schools, but then they don't stay. They leave after a year. So, it gives the mid-majors a chance to catch up, because they have guys that are playing together for 3 and 4 years that are, they're better team-wise. Their team concept is better, whereas pretty much like Kentucky, Duke, these teams have to every year start all over, and this is the time of year that they hoping to mesh it, to make, form these teams into teams to make their tournament run. So we'll see how that pans out. I really think you're going to be wrong about North Carolina in that ACC tournament, though.
He said you're
I'll
going
put
to be
$1
wrong.
on it.
He's going to tell you
I'll
why.
put $1.
One whole dollar, 4 quarters, 10 dimes,
Yep.
100
All right.
pennies.
So am I getting 100 to 1 odds? Because that's what Vegas would say right now.
No, I'm betting $1.
You getting $1.
Yeah. Man, but like I said, this is very interesting. I'm looking at current bracketology with Joe Lunardi, and literally, like, you see all kinds of schools that I couldn't tell you where they are on the map. Just saying. So, you're not.
That's the beauty of it, though, man. That's what makes this time of year so fun. Is when you watch these teams. For some of these teams, getting into the dance is like winning a championship, and you love watching those teams when they punch their ticket and they're so happy, and the students crash the floor and all that stuff. But man, I love that. I love.
Oh yeah.
To me, championship week is almost as fun as the tournament itself, because it's just so much excitement. There's so much drama that builds up, and some of these kids, they know this is going to be the last time they ever play together, and a lot of them know this is going to be the last time they ever play really organized basketball, because those smaller schools, their players aren't going on to play pro. So that's what makes it so fun, man, when you watch these guys and they get to punch their ticket and just the ecstatic looks on their face. Man, I love it. So bring on championship week, man. We're a week away from it.
Yeah, we're a week away from that. And as we mentioned in previous episodes, we are also having the second annual Sports Bros Podcast Bracket Challenge. Let me see if I can talk to my host off air. Maybe we can find out a prize, if you will, for the winner of the Sports Bros Podcast March Madness. Well, we can't use that. College basketball tournament challenge. You know, you got to pay for stuff like that, like the Super Bowl and other things like that. But I mean, you know, we ain't making no money off of it, so I guess they're gonna leave us alone. But yeah, I'm also looking forward to college basketball too. This is the time of year where I kind of hone in on that as well too, because it's exciting, man. And stranger things have happened, and anything can happen. And that's where we stand in the world of college basketball.
Hey.
Got it right. Got it right that time. All right, moving right along. Speaking of people of not knowing what's going on, fellas, what in the hell is going on with this Tom Brady situation? As you know, if you've been watching, you know, football in the NFL Network as of late, they got the 5th 11,000 day NFL Combine. Guess what? We're not really gonna cover that because what? You got guys running around doing drills and shorts and cleats and cutoff shirts. Come on now, there's nothing exciting about that until you see them play on the field or who they get drafted by or where they, you know, or what team they go to. So the question is, Tom Brady, will he stay? Will he go? There are some signs pointing that he ain't coming back, and then some signs saying that he gonna stay. What say us, Sports Bros? What say you, Be Live?
Tom Brady is a thorn in my side.
Your side.
Because when I tell you, I could give a flying beep about where Tom Brady ends, because he's literally let me try this out, because I'm trying to contain my anger right now. Tom Brady's just stay home. Just let it go. You have nothing left to prove. Your wife has always made more money than you. Just what could you do, Tom Brady, right now? Like, if you went to a struggling franchise, you're not going to make them that much better. Like, you're not going to beat Patrick Mahomes. I don't care where you go. You're not going to beat him. You're not like, right now at this point in time in his career, he's a middle tier quarterback at best. I know he just won one the year before. I know that, but he didn't win it.
Barely won it, you mean?
He didn't win that game. The defense won that game. He was not top. He's not a top tier quarterback anymore. So I don't, you know what? If he stays, good for him. If he goes, good for him. I personally just don't give a beep.
All right, there we go. And that's B-Live with his thoughts on where the hell
I got
Tom
my
Brady
own
going.
dump button.
There you go. Scottie D, who you got? What you got?
I think he's going to be back in New England next year. Honestly, the only place I could conceivably see him going, other than New England, would be maybe the Raiders, just because they are so serious about courting him there, and he'd be the man to help open up in Las Vegas. That's the only thing I could see as. And I could be wrong with this. I'm not sure Brady himself knows at this point exactly what he wants to do. He might just be enjoying the process of free agency for the first time. But I think a little bit of this is almost sort of like a dig at Belichick, because evidently their relationship is somewhat contentious. I don't have conversations personally with either of them, so I couldn't seriously vouch for that. But from what I understand, the reports are that there's a little bit of contentiousness there. So this could be almost like a backhanded jab, just to let everyone know I'm still Tom Brady. I'm still the man. And I don't know. I don't know if I even like putting it that way, but I just feel like he's trying to get a little bit of interest from others, just to show that he could do it somewhere else if he wanted to. But ultimately, I think Robert Kraft is going to step in and sit down with Tom Brady and make him an offer he can't refuse. I don't believe in his heart of hearts he really wants to end his career in a different uniform. I just don't. Joe Montana did that, and it didn't seem right. He still had a couple productive years. The situation there was Steve Young was ready to take over, and I don't believe that there is that situation in New England. But Montana even said as much to Brady that he thinks he should stay with the same team. But I just think I think when it comes down to it, if it comes to money and the offers are near the same, he's going to be in New England, finish his career as a Patriot. I just think he kind of has to.
Or he can finish his career now with New England.
Well, that's not an option.
Yes, it is. It is an option. It is a freaking option. Yes, it is.
It's not. He's already said it's not an option. He's coming back.
God.
Otherwise, he would have already retired. I don't know why you're belaboring that point, because it's not an option. I mean,
yes, it is. Yes, it is. I am belaboring this point because I want him to hear it somehow. Okay. Tom Brady, listen to the Sports Bros podcast and hang it up. Let it go. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of the head of creative, because this is not creative. This is dumb. Why are we talking about Tom Brady? Is this really news? Is this really sports, bros?
It is. It's an interesting topic that we must not. And B-Live, you know what? I was going to give you some shine there for a second, but I'm still give it to you anyway. You made an interesting point a few episodes ago where you said, you know what? Bill Belichick wants to win one without Tom Brady so bad it's ridiculous.
I'm just saying, like, I don't even. Neither is going to happen. Neither going to happen. I'm telling you right now.
No, they're not going to win together or apart at this point.
Right.
They both have their last trophy.
Yes.
Yeah. 13-9. Read them a week. 13-9 in the Super Bowl. Barely beat the Rams. They barely beat the Rams. But enough about talking about Tom Brady. We're going to talk about some more football. Scottie D's favorite league, the XFL, Week 4, where Scottie D was live in Tampa Bay, where he said a third of the lower bowl was filled up in Tampa Bay, Florida. You think they told him not to be running all over the stadium because WrestleMania is coming down? That's probably what happened.
Yeah, I guess. I'm gonna take a nap now, and you guys, whenever you want to talk about other stuff, I'll wake up and join you.
All right, I'll just do a real quick once over of the scores, shall we? All right, so here we go. We got B-Live's New York Guardians. They defeat the LA Wildcats 17-14. Then we got the St. Louis Battlehawks, the best home crowd in the league. They were a little under 30,000 in attendance. They defeat the Seattle Dragons 23-16. We got Scottie D. We got Scottie D's Dallas Renegades catching this L as my Houston Roughnecks defeat them 27-20.
What a game! What a
And
game it was.
yep, and the DC Zoo, they are officially on a 2-game slide. And Tampa Bay, they get their first win of the season, 25-0. Yep, that was a very interesting stat, knowing that St. Louis was just under, a hair up under, 30,000 people in that in that stadium. I mean, I think it's pretty good.
Definitely much better attendance with the XFL than they had with the Alliance. Yeah. And you meant to say the DC Defenders are on a 2-game skid, because this is very interesting to say the least. Like I'm watching the games as best as I can, but yeah, you've literally watched 2 different DC teams. Like the first 2 games they played, they were up there as one of the best in the XFL. These past 2 games, they just can't get right. Like,
yeah, I apologize to DC Defenders. I'm sorry.
But yeah,
you know what I've seen? Let me tell you what I've seen.
Oh, here
guys.
we go.
I've seen a couple games and bits and pieces of. I haven't watched a full game all the way through. The first week I watched the most of one single game. I think it was the Cardell Jones team, whoever he played.
That's the Defenders. That's
okay.
The DC Defenders, yeah.
All right, it was that team. And since then, I've seen a couple other pieces of games here and there. I have seen on multiple occasions a receiver beat a defender down the field and have the quarterback throw it nowhere near him catching it. These quarterbacks in this league are terrible. It's terrible quarterback play. They are barely able to complete passes in the flat. And I've seen some of them completed, but I've also seen some of them not close either. But I have seen no ball completed more than like maybe 10 yards down the field. This is terrible football. There are not enough good quarterbacks to fill out 32 starting spots in the NFL. And these are guys that aren't good enough to be the backups. This is terrible football. And that's all I have to say about that.
No, no, I'm not going to allow you to bash the sport like that. I'm not going to allow it. I'm not going to stand for it, because here's the thing: they're in their infancy. I assure you, moving forward, there's going to be more scout teams. There's going to be more. There is unbridled talent, of course. Yes, the top 64 to 96 quarterbacks are going to go to the NFL. We all understand that. But there is talent out there that just maybe it's just like once you.
Bro, there's a diamond in the rough here and there, but the quarterback play sucks. And if they're anywhere good enough, if they're anywhere good at all, they'll make an NFL roster. That means these guys suck.
So you're telling me right now, out of your own mouth, that after 96 people in this world, in this United States, quarterbacks, the 97th person is just terrible, god awful?
I don't think there's not 96 good ones.
I understand.
There's about 20, maybe 25.
And
Dak Prescott's not on that list, but there's about 20 25 good quarterbacks.
Ooh, wow! Your own team?
Yeah.
Dak Prescott 4,000 plus yards of passing, QBR top 10 in the league, but yeah, he's not
okay. Yeah, he's average, average to above average, but well below him. Well below him. What I'm saying is,
I want you to,
there's 32 starters in the NFL. Do you think there was 32 good quarterbacks last year in the NFL?
No,
because I don't. I saw less. So you're talking about after those 32 starters, there are 32 more backups. Most teams aren't carrying a third quarterback anymore. So that's 64 quarterbacks in the NFL. That's why I said that's supposedly the best 64 in the world. That means there's no way that these guys in the XFL are good. They're not. They're terrible, and that's why they're not in the NFL.
See, here's the thing. Once again, you're not studying the whole thing. You're telling me right now that year 2 of the XFL, I almost guarantee that you get someone from high school that says, you know what, I'd much rather play in the XFL, make my money for 3 years, and then take my chances in the NFL. You don't think that's a possibility?
No,
I think
because
so.
if
I
you're in
do.
high school and you're good enough to play in the NFL, you'll make more in one season not playing than you'll make in 3 in the XFL. Which, by the way, I'm not even convinced there's going to be a second season in the XFL.
Oh, you're boy. One of these days you're gonna eat your words.
No, I'm not,
Eat your
because
word.
these quarterbacks are terrible. They're terrible.
30,000 people in St. Louis think otherwise.
You know what? When spring training comes around, they're going to forget the name of that team in St. Louis.
Speaking
Wow.
of spring training, I wanted to segue real quick because I think it's funny. ESPN, they something else because they're showing a triple header on opening day in baseball. Guess who the third game is featuring?
Got to be the Astros.
Houston Astros.
Absolutely. You know everybody's gonna be watching that game just to see how many times they get pinged. Off subject.
Yeah.
Eddy Kool.
Yeah, it's
Amtrak to say.
yes. It's a classic case of the first 2 damn good doubleheaders. We don't give a damn. Give us the Astros and whoever. Don't matter. All right, so the XFL standings in the East, we got the St. Louis Battlehawks 3-1, the DC Defenders 2-2, the New York Guardians also at 2-2, and the Tampa Bay Vipers, they're 1-3 over in the West.
You should. Hey, the crowd was into it. I liked it. Whole thing was.
It's gonna take some time. They love them. They'll get there. They'll get there. Over in the West, we got the Houston Roughnecks at 4-0, the only undefeated team in the league. Scottie D's Dallas Renegades at 2-2, the LA Wildcats at 1-3, and the Seattle Dragons at 1-3 as well.
Scottie D doesn't have a team.
I was waiting on that one, but
I let it go last week, Eddy Kool. But no, I don't have a team.
You have a team when Eddy Kool says you have a team. He's the HOC up in here, and I agree. And on top of that,
you got the Dallas Renegades. See, Scotty, you ain't even got to go that far from down the street. You got to go right across the road. It's okay. Go from the Cowboys to the Renegades. You get everything.
Oh, don't worry. In Scottie D's true fashion, he's going to switch over to the Houston Roughnecks because he's a Lakers fan and he's a Yankees fan and he's a Dallas fan. So I mean, he's just going to switch over to the best team. So, I mean, that's what he does. And on top of that, I was going to say that, yes, I do agree that the quarterback play in the XFL is terrible, god-awful, but they will improve. And we year 2, man, you're going to see a much greater product on the field. I guarantee it.
No, you're not.
Yes, yes,
No,
I will. Yes,
no.
I will.
Who's going to see it? Nobody's watching it.
Yeah.
You say you're going to see. Who are you talking to? You're not talking to me because I'm not going to see it.
You watched it. You saw a game. You saw a game to have an opinion about it.
I saw about 5 minutes of a game the other day. You know what I saw? Jerry Glanville wearing sunglasses during the evening. That's what I saw.
You did see that.
Yeah.
And some racing boots.
They're doomed. They're doomed.
It's kind of like the Wild West. It's kind of like what Jerry Glanville. Yeah, he was a man in Atlanta, but yeah, this is no surprise, but yeah, we ain't too far away from the free agency period in the NFL, so stay tuned. And that's it for the week 4 XFL wrap up. And fellas, we're gonna move right along in the choices of the voices. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
And thanks once again to the wonderful and lovely Miss Button for the introduction to the choices of the voices section. You heard the woman. That's our favorite part of the show. So, Scottie D, what was the answer to this week's choices of the voices segment?
All right. So this week I asked, who, in your opinion, is the biggest knucklehead out there in sports? And we didn't necessarily limit it to a current player or even a player. Could be a commissioner, coaching staff, manager, whatever. It was kind of up to you to decide who you thought in the world of sports is the biggest knucklehead. And I honestly thought that the most obvious one with some low-hanging fruit, didn't get picked out there. And we'll get into that. But go ahead, Eddy Kool. Tell us what we got on these answers.
All right, we got Trey Dizzle. Trey Duke, he said Ty Cobb. Woo, some of his most memorable moments. Let's see, he sharpened his spikes to make the infielders fear injury every time he took a base. He probably fixed the game, had a long historic history of domestic violence, fought a black groundskeeper during the practice, and then choked his wife when she intervened, attacked the heckler in the stands, slapped a black elevator operator for no reason, then oh God, this Ty, yeah, so Ty Cobb, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, the wonderful Ty Cobb. Let's see. And then here comes the ultimate one. After his son failed out of Princeton, Cobb came home and beat him and horsewhipped him. Woo. Tyrone Cobb, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm impressed that that's the answer Trey went with, because in my wildest dreams, I would have never thought anybody would come up with Ty Cobb for this answer. He was mean. He was a bad person.
That's the best way to put it.
Mean.
That's the best way to put it.
I didn't think he was so much of a knucklehead as a bad guy, but there was stuff there that Trey pointed out that I wasn't even aware of. But this is a bad person. I mean, so you can call him a knucklehead. I'm good with that. That's a very interesting answer.
And the thing about it is, I've wasn't there a movie out not too a while back about Ty Cobb?
Cobb?
I think there was, if I'm not mistaken, but I never really watched it. But I've heard the buzz about, hey man, that Ty Cobb, he was quite the guy, and like not quite the guy, but yeah, he was one of them.
Well, I'm thinking Tommy Lee Jones did a movie about him several years ago. This isn't.
I think that's it. I think that's it.
It was several years ago, and it's been a long time since I've seen it. But what I can remember of it is they didn't depict him as a hero. They were showing some of the dirty thing. I remember a scene of him sliding with his spikes up. That was kind of one of his trademarks, is to go in hard when he slid, and that way people wouldn't want to get in his way. That was a mean streak, and it was competitive. But he was not a good person from all accounts, from what I've read before. But it's been a while since I've done any Ty Cobb research, really, and so that's why I think that's a pretty cool answer that Trey came up with. So appreciate that one, Trey.
Yep. Ty Cobb was a good one. Then we got Uncle Max, one of our day ones. He says Don King. And he don't need to explain nothing else. He don't need to explain nothing else. He just put Don King.
Fair enough.
I think that's Uncle Max's shortest answer he's ever given.
Yes.
It's a short answer, but it says a lot.
Very, very much so. Like if two words could be the loudest two words ever, Don King. Yeah, we got it. But see, here's the thing. I will ask this: is he so much of a knucklehead, or just an entertainment genius? Because I mean, he made money. He booked fights, and his talk game was one of the best. Yes, his antics were crazy as all outdoors, and that hair.
Yeah, you know what? Knucklehead, but a genius at the same time. I guess you could kind of say, right?
That's yeah.
Like you said, he made a lot of money in promoting a sport that really went mainstream when he was on his game. He's faded out of the public eye, but Don King, man, he made a lot of money.
Only in America. That damn Don King. Boy, look at here. Yep, Don King. Thanks, Uncle Max. 2 words, a whole lot of noise. One man, one person. All right, we got Dan Becker. What's going on, Dan Becker? He says Dennis Rodman is up there for me. For a lot of people forget how nuts he was in his prime. Dude won multiple titles, was making love. I'll use a appropriate term for that. Making love to Madonna and Carmen Electra, going out and partying every night. Photographed happily doing so and cross-dressing all over the place. Despite all these distractions, he was still a rebound machine and multiple-time world champion. He's still crazy in his retirement, going on shows like The Surreal Life, Celebrity Rehab, Celebrity Apprentice, and flying to North Korea for a basketball game with Kim Jong-un. Man, I tell you what, Dan Becker, Dennis Rodman is a great choice for a knucklehead, because I remember listening to another podcast, and they did like this whole retrospect of Dennis Rodman, that there was a whole lot going on. He's quite the interesting character, and the ESPN has had several pieces on him where I guess the Chicago Bulls ball boy or somebody followed him around and they partied every night and got like 10 minutes of sleep. It didn't matter. Dennis wouldn't take a shower and still go out on the floor on the basketball court and kick ass. I mean, Dennis Rodman was Dennis Rodman, man.
He didn't take a shower. Oh, so
hey, man, that's it.
Yeah. He's just funky.
Yeah.
Oof.
He was a complicated dude, man. He was.
Yeah.
He reinvented himself from his early days. It's always odd to go back and look at him in a Pistons uniform. There's no tattoos or jewelry or anything. No, earrings and nose ring. He just a regular dude. And then he reemerged in San Antonio with the blonde hair, and that's whenever he started with the changing the hair colors. By the time he got to Chicago, he was just an outright celebrity, and I think the nightlife just drove him into a whole other another altitude of knuckleheaddom, if you will.
I like that. I like that term, knuckleheaddom.
Yeah,
like
he really. I mean, he almost towards the end of his career and even beyond became a caricature of himself, all the way to the point of that whole mess in Korea, where he was. I don't know if you guys remember, but he was crying and had that interview.
Blubbering.
Yeah, I mean, he took all those guys over there, and they were celebrating this murderous dictator's birthday, and he's my friend. Oh, come on, man. I mean, that was high end knucklehead stuff right there.
High end knucklehead stuff. I like it.
Oh, think I found the title for the show. High end knucklehead stuff.
or knuckleheaddom.
Yeah,
knuckleheaddom. Yeah, either one of those two. Yeah, knuckleheaddom or high end knucklehead. It's gonna have two names. The hell with it. It's gonna have two names. All right. Next up, we got Terrible Pete Talansky. What's going on, buddy? Welcome back. He said the biggest knucklehead has got to be the Commissioner Rob Manfred of Major League Baseball in not disciplining the players who cheated, and when referring to the MLB championship trophy as a hunk of metal and not worth asking the Astros back for it. He basically is telling baseball players that what they fight so hard for every year is not worth it. Wow. Hunk of metal.
He did say that. That's a good point, Pete. I think he's a knucklehead too, to be honest with you.
Oh, hunk of metal Manfred.
Yeah.
Still surprised he still has a job. Just honestly, I'm telling you right now, isn't it the owners of the respective teams? Aren't they the ones that pick the commissioner or something like that?
And pay him, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
If I was there's 32 teams in Major League Baseball, right? 32?
No, 20, 28.
No, there's 30. There's 32.
It's 30? Okay, 30. 32? You sure 32? Thought it was small. Well, anyways, the umpteen amount of teams.
The Lord, sports bros. We don't know how many teams there. Somebody tap on a computer or something. But either way, if I was to select the other teams in there, any team not the Houston Astros, I'd have called for his head the second that there was no discipline handed out to any of the players. There was 3 coaches fired. I mean, 2 coaches and the general managers, if I'm not mistaken.
And a big old fine.
Yeah, that's it.
Huge scandal, and 3 people pay the price. Unbelievable.
Right. Yeah, knuckle-headedness.
Yep.
Yeah. Knuckle-headedom.
Knuckle-headedom in its finest fashion.
And
the head knucklehead in charge.
Then this dude comes out with some kind of baseball playoff expansion proposal where teams are picking who they're going to play in the playoffs. I mean, what? Come on. That's stupid. You can't in the world of sports, you should never be in a position to pick your opponents. I mean, just think of it this way. How many times have you seen in any sport in the past where a team wins a playoff series, and when they get interviewed, any player gets interviewed after, the interviewer will say, "You're waiting on the winner of this series. Which of these 2 teams would you like to play?" Have you ever heard a player answer it?
And if they did, they say, "We're gonna pick the Montreal Expos."
Well, They just never do. They just always say,
No.
it doesn't matter. We'll play whoever. We're going to be You never hear anybody say, yeah, we would rather play this team or that team. That just causes problems. And for him to make that as a potential rule, that if your record is good enough that you get to pick who you want to play, that's ridiculous. I mean, that should never be considered. You looking at the NBA All-Stars, Giannis and LeBron are picking their players. There's friction between Giannis and Harden now, just for them going public and picking players for a meaningless All-Star game. Now you're going to tell me you're going to put a baseball team in a position to choose their opponent? Stupid. That's a knucklehead move.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. Very well spoken, Scottie D. That's why he's the money man.
He went on one of his epic Scottie D rants. And when he started going on a rant, I just sit back and back. Whenever you're ready to finish, just let me know.
I feel a little bit better, a little lighter at this point.
All right, let me grab my popcorn.
Good. Oh yeah. Straight some of that good old butter on it.
Oh man.
Yeah. Go ahead,
so we all agree that Manfred is a knucklehead, and the fact that he still has a job, MLB, the entire Major League Baseball conglomerate is knuckleheads. Like, really, something. So this is going to be a very, very interesting season, to say the least.
You know, I think sports team owners in general, now that you mentioned Be Live, are all knuckleheads because they're allowing him to be there. And all the NFL owners last year, they chose to give Roger Goodell, the knucklehead of all knuckleheads, a big extension.
No, I won't let you do. I won't let you do that. I will not let you do that to the NFL.
So we throwing 64 teams in the penalty box? That's what we're doing?
Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred is way bigger of a knucklehead. Roger Goodell has at least put money and brought revenue. Of course, like right now, when it comes to commissioners, it's NBA up top by far. By far. Like, the amount of money that the NBA is making is ridiculous. Then I'd go NFL. No, I lied. NBA, MLS is number 2.
Oh.
There's a reason why they've expanded all the way to 30 teams in the course of 10 years. They went from 10 to 30 in 10 years? Mm-hmm. Yeah. MLS is going to be there. Scottie D, suck it up. MLS is
considering I know absolutely no one who watches that, but go ahead, continue.
Okay, because you need to broaden your horizon.
Because he was watching the Atlanta and Nashville game. Okay, that's what it is. He was watching the expansion of Nashville and the damn Atlanta game. And Miami got a team too, don't they?
Mm-hmm. And Charlotte will have a team next year.
Wow!
This year
that
actually
is exciting.
Yes, it is.
He'll be there.
I'm trying to get to a game, but yeah. Outside of Scottie D's narrow-minded box, there's actually a sport out there that the majority of the world plays and watches.
I don't live in the majority of the world. I live in the United States. And what's the name of the commissioner of MLS, by the way?
But stop.
What's the name? What's the name of the commissioner?
Oh boy, here we go. He was gonna get you.
Nobody knows that knucklehead's name either. Knucklehead. Eddy Kool, get us back on track here, would you?
All right, here we go. We got Martin Tracy. He says a toss-up between Michael Irvin is not my crack pipe in my pocket, sir, and Hollywood Henderson. He said, I don't know. I didn't know she was a handicapped teenager. Jesus Christ. I guess Hollywood Henderson, because redemption, he lost it all when he won the lottery twice, for real, then put it to good use. Greatest story. Irvin, on the other hand, not so sure. He ain't put the pipe up yet. Michael Irvin do be sweating a lot, though.
Yeah. Well, Matty, out of anybody in the whole world of sports, chose 2 Dallas Cowboys as his knucklehead pick. Now, Hollywood Henderson was a young knucklehead in his day. He really was. He's come a long way since. But it's not like Michael Irvin and Hollywood Henderson, got caught at a massage parlor or got put away in jail for murder or something like that, like other teams do. But
or the dude that went to jail that played for the Cowboys, he was stealing underwear.
Now that was a knucklehead there. Yeah, that was Randall, I believe was his name. He was a knucklehead. There was a big knucklehead. Yeah, he stole some drawers.
They're stealing damn
Draws.
draws. Are you serious?
Yeah.
I wish I knew his name. It's not Julius Randle. It's
Joseph Randall, I believe, was his name.
Yeah, you big dummy.
Yeah.
You make all that money and you won't steal. You know what? I'm gonna say I got my rant ready for. Anyway,
I think he's actually in jail right now too, if I'm not mistaken.
For them damn stinking ass
Well,
draws. Moving right along.
Bigger stuff than that, but as far as I know, I believe Joseph Randall's in the clink, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, he did some other stuff. All right, moving right along. Last but not least, we got Corey. Corey said, "T.O. Terrell, don't call me Terrell Owens."
No argument on him. He was such a knucklehead that he huffed and puffed and whined and complained about not getting into the Hall of Fame, and then when he did, he didn't even show up. And that speaks nothing of all the knucklehead stuff he did while he was in the league.
Yeah, that's Hall of Fame, man. You got to show up. Your peers put you in. Like, what are you doing?
He had guys year in and year out sticking up for him, saying this guy needs to be in the Hall of Fame. And what's he do when the Hall of Fame shows up? I'm gonna go to my college and give the speech. And they're like, you know what? Cool. We're gonna mail you your jacket. What a knucklehead.
Yeah, we're gonna mail you jacket. Here you go, buddy.
He didn't prove any kind of point there at all. He was trying to, but I think he made himself look stupid in that situation.
Yeah, that is crazy. All right, we've heard from the voices: Trey Duke, Uncle Max, Dan Becker, Terrible Pete Talansky, Martin Tracy, and Corey Turner. They gave us our answers. Now it's time for us to talk about our knuckleheads that we picked in the world of sports. Scottie D, who you got?
Well, like I said earlier, I thought there was some low-hanging fruit there with AB. Everybody thinks AB is a knucklehead. And actually, the AB I was going to mention was not even Antonio Brown. It was Adrian Broner. Now, this dude...
Nice.
I did not see that coming. Scottie D with a change.
Adrian Broner had a lot of talent. Now, if you're not familiar with Adrian Broner, he's a young boxer. Actually, he's not even so young anymore, but he should be in the prime of his career. But this brother, he runs his mouth constantly. In fights that I've seen him where he barely threw a punch and lost, he somehow was upset, even though he doesn't actually punch in the fights. Then he showed up at the weigh-in for Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury last weekend and wasn't even allowed to be there and ended up getting arrested. And then on Twitter, like, where are we going out? Where are we partying tonight? Just complete knucklehead stuff. He's been arrested for I think some sexual assault charges in the past. And this is a guy who has a lot of raw talent and just squanders it because he wants to be a showman. He wants to be like Floyd Mayweather without Floyd Mayweather's talent, but he actually had a chance to be a really good fighter. And he has been. He's won some good fights, but he just never, I think, has fully lived up to his potential just because he is a knucklehead.
All right. Be Live, who is your knucklehead? Knucklehead.
Adrian Broner. I like that one. About billions.
Yeah.
About billions, all right. Hey, it's got locked up.
Well, I'm gonna go like Scottie D mentioned about Antonio Brown, but I was gonna mention another NFL wide receiver that I'm very surprised that nobody mentioned, because this dude has gotten chance after chance after chance after chance and continues to just blow it. And Stephen A got the catchphrase from this one dude, and you know what he was. Lay off the weed.
Off the weed. Lay off the weed.
Josh Gordon, what is wrong with you? Just knucklehead. All you have to do, the only thing that's keeping you from making millions and millions and millions and being one of the top wide receivers in the game, and just life would just be right there for you, is just let go of the. Hey, think of this. Give it a couple of more years, it'll be legal. Just lay off the weed, bro. Come on. Just dumb.
Yeah.
But it's going to be
all those guys like Randy Gregory. He's another, just like you said, won't lay off the weed. And by the way, I don't know if you guys remember this, but one of our first episodes we did last year, I was talking about David Irving. You remember this conversation? All played for the Cowboys.
Yep, he was one of our initial topics on episode 1.
Yeah,
Yep.
this guy, it was more important for him to just go smoke weed than it was to try to get reinstated back into the NFL. And on that episode, I kind of remember saying he'll be back when he starts running out of money. And I already just heard a few days ago he's trying to work on getting back into the NFL. So that didn't take too long. But Josh Gordon, though, man, you're right, B-Lab. That dude, I mean, how many chances did that guy get, man?
Well, and a question, because help me out. I'm having trouble remembering. There's one other wide receiver. I think he went to Oklahoma State.
Justin Blackman.
Stupid amount of talent.
Ugh.
Man, I don't understand.
The boy, it's we here at the Sports Bros podcast. We just want to let everyone know we're not poking fun of these guys.
Yes, we are.
We really hope.
I'm sorry.
we really, some people have issues and addictions. I get it, but it's kind of like a once in a lifetime chance. I mean, personally, I just wish these guys would just quit would kick the habit, get it together, and stick to playing the game that got them to the dance. Both Blackman, and I haven't heard anything from him at all as of late.
Yeah, Justin Blackman, I haven't heard a word in years.
Okay, he's alive. I know that much. He ain't dead yet, so that's a good thing. And poor Josh Gordon. I mean, it's a stressful life as an NFL athlete. I get it, but you have to make the conscious decision. Do I make X amount of dollars to ensure my children are good, then my children's children, and then my children's children's children are good, or do I just roll up another raw cone and hit some of the finest or the stickiest or the ickiest? I mean, you got to figure something out.
Yeah,
you got to figure something out. All right, so that leaves me. Last week, guys, I kind of gave you a brief taste of my pick for the knucklehead in all of sports. So let me go ahead and get to the microphone here. Let me go ahead and readjust myself. I'm at my normal setting. Due to some issues that we had earlier, I had to relocate, but nevertheless. Greg Robinson recently made the news of getting stopped at the border with, if I'm not mistaken, 157 pounds worth of marijuana, the sticky icky, the weed, the devil's lettuce. You name it, that's what it is. Now, personally, I don't have an issue with weed. Not at all. None whatsoever. I've done my research. I read the stories about the benefits and health benefits. Okay, I appreciate it. Matter of fact, personally, I know some people who use it as for medicinal purposes. Nothing wrong with that. Greg Robinson is 27 years old. He was a first-round draft pick, second overall in 2014 from the University of Auburn. But recently, he was caught, him and another player, some other no-name dude who was a wide receiver, former wide receiver, going to the Mexican border with 157 pounds worth of marijuana. I forgot what the street value is, but it's enough to get your ass slammed up in jail. Here's my thing. As spoiler alert, if you ever want to know how much an athlete makes, go to sporttrack.com and you can look at their contract breakdown. Okay, so this past year he played for the Browns. He had a 1-year deal, $6.4 million. Okay, $6.4 million, and he's an unrestricted free agent this 2020. You mean to tell me that out of that $6.4 million, you got to be a glorified weed man?
He's in the distribution field.
The weed man. The weed man.
Well, upon quick research, 157 pounds of marijuana has an estimated street value ranging from $300,000 to $750,000, depending on its quality and location of sale.
So you driving around here with some dirt weed, $500,000 of dirt, man. What you know what? I don't get it. I don't understand it. There's years ago we had a saying about people and the things they do, especially when it pertains to going to college. You can't go to college and be a thug. You gotta let something go. You can't play in the NFL and be the dope man or the weed man or the dogfight man. Something got to go.
Wait a minute. Eddy Kool is just coming in. Breaking news. Breaking news. Greg Robinson, he was transporting originally 158 pounds of marijuana. He smoked a pound on the way to Mexico.
So you were high at the border.
You have to be.
Stinking.
You have to be. You cannot do this. You cannot carry 157 pounds of anything across a nation's border and think it's not going to get checked.
Ain't nothing going to happen to me. I smell it on you. Are you an idiot? Matter of fact, that's like what, 15 years in prison?
God, I didn't see. I just had to look up. I had to look it up. What is?
Jesus Christ, Greg Robinson, look, man. Bruh, player, look, man. Get yourself together. Give your brain a bath. Go to church, start listening, and get on the right path. It's more than life than just being a glorified weed man, or as B-Live said, distribution. Quit being a dumbass. You, sir, are the
knucklehead.
Knucklehead. I'm sorry, guys.
It gets even better because I done pulled up the story and I done showing the picture of the duffel bags that he was carrying. You tell me that nobody's going to check that? You got
a whole bunch of damn duffel bags.
Come on, they're going to check regular luggage. You think that, man, come on.
They'll never find it in here. They'll never think to look in here.
Jeez.
Smear Alpo across it. The dogs won't pick it up.
In a rented Chevy Tahoe. Boy, you off the chain.
Greg Robinson, in the words of the money man Scottie D, hashtag do better. Scottie D, say it.
Do better, dude. Come on. You got to do better.
You got to do better. You got to do better. So once again, thanks to everybody that participated in the Choices of the Voices segment this week. Scottie D, what is the question for next week's Choices of the Voices?
Well, we actually kind of brushed up against it a little bit here with some of the things that we said. And it made me decide, well, we're going to go ahead and do this question, but we're going to ask, who in the world of sports do you think is the biggest underachiever that you've ever seen? Now, the difference between knucklehead and underachiever is just guys that maybe just didn't live up to their potential. Guys you saw, maybe it was no fault of their own, maybe it was because of injury or something like that. But someone you think that you watched personally play and you said, man, this guy is going to be, or this girl is going to be phenomenal. And you just feel like they never kind of got to that level that you were expecting. Now, by saying that, there have been some people who've been hyped up beyond belief. Like, I don't know if you guys remember young Freddie Adu, the soccer player, and Michelle Wee, when she was about 13. You know, these are kids. There's no way to know how high their ceiling was going to be. So I feel like putting those kind of people on that list would be a little bit unjust, just because they were given some hype at a young age based on really nothing. I mean, just because people saw them and knew that they were good. But so we're just going to go with what your eye test says. Someone that you saw and you thought that person just never really lived up to how good I thought they would be. Any sport.
All right. Underachievers. There we go. On next week's edition of the Choices of the Voices section. Once again, thank you very much, because we love this section of the show, this portion of the show. We tend to run a little long because see what happens when you give us good, when we give y'all questions, you give us good answers, and we opine upon it. and do the best we can, and we have fun. It's our favorite portion of the show. All right, we going home. I chew. No, I'm not going to sneeze. Wash your hands and cover your mouth because that thing is out there going around. Lord, please be careful. It is around the pepper. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style. Kind of, sort of. Not really, but we just pass the ball around, say what we got to say, and keep it moving, shall we? All right, I got this ball in my hand, and now I'm going to go first. My first pepper point goes out to the University of Hartford, the Hawks women's basketball team, as they defeat Stony Brook women's basketball team. Why are you asking? Is this my pepper point? I'll tell you why. Because the Hartford Hawks, they're bad. Before they got this win, they were 0-28. Exactly.
0-28.
Yes. 0-28, which means ain't won no games to drop the bunch of L's. But they did beat Stony Brook, who are 25-2 in that conference. Yeah, they beat Stony Brook. So when they say keep pushing, keep pounding, keep fighting, just make sure you think of the Hartford Lady Hawks when they beat Stony Brook.
All right.
Yeah, first win of the season. It's a little too late, but it is what it is. Over to you, Scottie.
Feels good to get that first one. All right, my first pepper point is a shout out to Sung J M, who wins at Bay Hill on Sunday, becoming their youngest winner at that tournament at the age of 21. Tommy Fleetwood, who actually surprisingly has not had a win on the PGA Tour, inexplicably hit his second shot into the water on the par 5 18th on the final hole of the day, and blew his chance to tie it and extend the tournament. And Sung J M, a winner on the PGA Tour. Over to you, B Live.
All right. So I'm going to put a little pepper on this real quick, and this is going to be a shout out. A shout out to the second best commissioner in all of American sports, to Don Garber. Yes.
He did research.
But no, man, yes, he called me out, Scottie D, so I'm going to make it a whole pepper point. So Don Garber, he's been the commissioner of Major League Soccer since 1999. Major League Soccer came into fruition in 1993. And since Don Garber's taken control of Major League Soccer, they've grown from 10 teams to, starting this coming year, will be 30 teams over the past. It's grown 20 teams in 20 years.
Wow.
So yes, soccer is growing. Scottie D, you're going to have to just grasp reality, because it's going to be a thing, and it's coming to Charlotte, and I can't wait. Eddy Kool, the ball.
Go! No.
Yes. Love it. Love it.
All up and down Charlotte. All right. And the second pepper point goes out to B-Live's New York Guardians. Because guess what they've done in this young XFL season? No, you'll like this, Scott. This is a jam. You'll like it. They are 2-0 at MetLife Stadium, which means they're tied for total home wins with the New York Football Giants, who wound up going 2-6 at home last season. If the Guardians get the 3 wins, well, we'll know who have a better home record.
How about it?
Oh, man. Yeah. Over to you, Scottie D.
Speaking of losing, a couple of times in the last couple of weeks, I made reference about how I thought the Penguins were poised for the Stanley Cup. They actually took over the lead of the division over the Capitals about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, and have since not won. They've lost 6 in a row. So having said that, they play Ottawa on Tuesday night at home. We got to get that win streak back, because they have now slipped to third in the division behind the Caps and the Flyers and Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm going to need you to go ahead and get this train back on track and get to that Stanley Cup for me. But the 6-game losing streak, I'm going to take responsibility for. I threw the black cat by putting them in the Stanley Cup final. So that one's on me, but we'll get it back together. Be Live, over to you.
All right. I don't like mentions of black cats, Ever since that black cat just went scurrying across the field, my black cats, the Panthers, did not win another game. I don't like it. But my other cats, though, my beloved Clemson Tigers, all roads lead to Dabo. Man, have you seen the show that Isaiah Simmons has put on at the combine? Is there anything this guy cannot do? 6'4", 230 pounds, running a sub 4.40, 4.39. Do you understand how fast it is and how big he is?
That's fast. B-Live, give us his measurements, his height and his weight.
6'4", 230 pounds. And the greatest answer to any question in an interview ever. So what position are you playing? Defense. Yes.
Hey.
Yes. Anywhere you put me, I'm there. He played every position. And whoever decides to pick, man, I want him in Carolina so bad. I really do. I think he would be, well, we miss Luke, man. Isaiah Simmons could be that dude. I think he's going to do phenomenal things, but I don't think he's going to make it all the way to 7th pick. I don't think he will. Well, we shall see. Eddy Kool, the ball.
You know what? I was thinking the other day, I said, you know what? They might just give him the Mark Barron treatment. We're going to give you number 35, but we're going to line you up a linebacker. If you got to go to safety, we'll put you back there too. But hey, man, if he says he wants to play defense, let him play. Let him play. All right. This has been episode 49. My third and final pepper point goes to the almighty B-Live and the money man, Scottie D, for helping me put together this episode 49 because, ladies and gentlemen, you have no idea what we went through to get this to you. But guess what, though? We did it. We did it. 49 episodes strong. So my third and final pepper point goes to the Sports Bros Podcast. I love you guys. I really mean it.
Oh, shucks. Love you too, Eddy Kool. I'm having a great time with you guys. Now, bear with me on this final pepper point because this will probably be a little bit lengthier than I usually would make it. But there's a little bit something important I wanted to share here. We've all lost someone that we love, and it's always comforting to see a friendly face whenever you lose someone. It doesn't take the pain away, but it always offers some sort of comfort. Well, last Monday, I watched the Kobe Bryant Memorial, and I thought it was very fitting that Shaq was the final speaker. I thought that, he spoke from the heart and provided some levity, but I actually thought that the best speech of the day came from someone else. Now, there are a lot of people, myself included, who feel that when Kobe Bryant looks up at the list of the greatest basketball players of all time, he only sees one person above him, and that's Michael Jordan. And in 2009, Michael Jordan was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, and I remember feeling really disappointed in his speech because I thought that he was arrogant and petty and kind of mean-spirited, and it kind of always bothered me about Michael Jordan. Well, if you fast forward to Monday, other than a tweet, we really hadn't heard much publicly from Michael Jordan following Kobe's death. But on Monday, there he was, front and center, giving a heartfelt speech as a peer to a man who really didn't have many peers. Michael Jordan's one of the few people who could really know what it was like to be Kobe Bryant. And the words that he spoke were humble, funny, and most importantly, I thought very respectful. And for those of us who cared about Kobe, I thought that on that day, he offered a sense of comfort. And so to that, I say thumbs up to the greatest basketball player of all time. Be live. Over to you.
Oh, man. There's a new Michael Jordan crying Jordan meme out there, and he made a joke about that, and it was just like.
He did, and it was perfect.
It was perfect. I was like, that's the Michael Jeffrey Jordan that I grew up with. That was just the greatest of all time.
He was great on Monday, man. He was very heartfelt and human that day, I thought. And and I just remember when he gave the Hall of Fame speech thinking, man, he could have done so much better when he it just felt mean. And on last Monday, when he was giving the Kobe speech, it just felt like very, very real and very comforting to have Michael Jordan be a part of that. I thought that was fantastic to have him be part of that.
He knew he had to come correct, man. He knew
He
had
did.
to.
He did it. He was the greatest on that day.
Absolutely. And all right, I'm gonna try to finish this off on a sillier note, because again, I think this is just silly that what goes on in Madison Square Garden. The New York Knicks select
Oh boy.
select former player agent Leon Rose as their new team president. Why is this silly, you might ask?
Why is it silly?
Why is it
Eli?
silly?
Because what does he know about running a basketball operation? He knows how he's been an agent to a few players. I mean, you have to have some type of knowledge. Are they trying to entice good players to come to New York with the agent now president? Because I guess he used to have Joel Embiid, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Karl Anthony Towns, Carmelo Anthony, Kyle Kuzma, LeBron James, AI were once. He was their agent. So I mean, yeah, has some names to it, but will the Knicks ever be good?
No time soon.
I just like
It's hard to believe that they've been this bad this long.
Yeah. You would think in the Mecca, the Big Apple, the most famous arena in
unlimited resources. You're right. I mean,
yeah,
but they just can't get right, boss.
Can't get right.
No, you're right. They just can't get right, boss. I mean, you would figure like, okay, the New York Knickerbockers, okay, they might be bad for 2 years.
But then again, this is actually the perfect way to end this segment. The same way we started this program, talking about organizations, professional organizations, and their owners, because James Dolan is just an absolute idiot. I don't think
Knucklehead.
Just say, yes.
Oh man, nobody named him.
Right. I just thought about it. Yeah. Knucklehead, James Dolan. Wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good luck with the Knicks. Not really. All right. I'm good. Eddy Kool. Let's go ahead and finish it off. That boy.
All right, and that's it for another exciting and exhilarating and emotional round of Pepper. We've all sitting here chilling, not hurt, everybody not crying. All right, we good to go. All right, and that being said, that's another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. But before we go, we got to tell you guys how to get in contact with us. First of all, the Money Man, Scottie D. How can they get in contact with you?
Check me out on Facebook, my friends. And you can find me around this town slinging the trivia questions at various places. Bowie's on Monday, Barefoot Landing, Wild Wing Cafe on Wednesday. And check out Beast Ninja. Check us out. You can check us out on Facebook or come see us down on 501. Obstacle course training at Beast Ninja.
All right. And if you need Scottie D to come through and do some trivia for you, just dive into his DMs and talk some business. Scottie
Open
D.
for business.
Open for business. Business is booming, boss, in the trivia business, because he's the best in the world. The Money Man, Scottie D.
Thank you, boys. Thank you.
Nice.
All right, B-Live, where can they find you? Other than
Battlehawks. Yeah.
Hey, he'll be there watching Battlehawks.
Check it out. You can find me in my normal place of employment. Come check me out at wow, I just had a brain fart. Crap.
Max Pizza on Church Road, home of the best brisket, barbecue, 200 beers on tap. Yes,
You ready to do those
No,
again,
I actually want to keep that and because Scottie D just did everything for me.
Yeah, that's it.
What Scottie D said, that's where I work at. I forgot because I'm tired, but I'm good. I'm good.
Working you to death, man.
Oh man, it's all good though. Job's got to get done, and I'm very fortunate to be there, and we got some big things.
They're lucky to have you.
I'm lucky to have them too. But yeah, also I wanted to mention got some big events coming up there at Max Speed Shop on March 12th. We have a 50 tap takeover with Wicked Weed Brewing out of Asheville, North Carolina. 50 different beers. Yeah, a lot of work. But I want y'all to come out and see me here in Fayetteville. Check it out, because a lot of work is going behind this, and I think it's going to be a big success. And it won't be successful without each and every one of you. I know most of our listeners are in the South Carolina area, but for those few that are happen to tune in and check out Sports Bros Podcast, check me out at Max Speed Shop. Also, you can find me on various social media outlets. Facebook, my name is Brian Livingston. My profile is public because I ain't got nothing to hide. Come check your boy out. Click the links to the Sports Bros Podcast. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram, Sports Bros Podcast. On Twitter, Sports Bros PCast. If you have any questions, comments about the show, feel free to give us a quick email at sportsbrospcast@gmail.com. Also, we're working on our YouTube page. When I say we're working on it, really, I mean, we're going to work on it.
Yeah, we're going to put something up there. Give us some time. But we're
going to put something on something. But yeah, we are growing. I cannot believe we're coming up on our 50th episode as our anniversary episode. So just stay tuned, man. Love it. I also want to give a quick shout out. We do have a couple of new top fans to our Facebook like page. Got to give a quick shout out to Tasha Edwards. And a friend to the show has finally made it as a top fan. Old Smooth Operator, my man JR. Smooth the Star Walker, whatever name he wants to go by. Hey, do what you do, baby. Do what you do. But definitely appreciate love going out to our top fans. Terrible Pete Delansky that made it back on the list. My man Jose been holding it down for 4 weeks strong. Respecting to the newest, to Kat Farr. And I want to give a shout out to her engagement. She just got recently engaged. I want to say about a month ago. So I want to do a quick shout out to her on the show. Love you all. Thank you for all the support.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you all for the support. And that leaves me, Eddy Kool, the HOC, the head of creative here at the Sports Bros Podcast. I'm going to let you guys know right now, if it wasn't for my co-host, this would not be possible. And if it wasn't for the support of the fans, the listeners, you guys, oh, man, it really wouldn't be possible. Thank you for the 800 plus likes that you have given us over the past year. That's right, year. It's been up for a year. And the podcast will be going on a year strong, episode 50. Oh, man. Happy, and blessed. And just only if you knew what it took to get from point A to point B. But it ain't over yet. You can reach me on Facebook, Eddy Kool. Yeah, you know that ain't the real name, but you get it. Also, you can catch me out on Instagram. Cool Season, all one word. If you do the Snapchat, Super Cool 5000. I'm also on there too. And the other Sports Bros podcast platforms that we have mentioned to on the social media landscape world as well too. Guess what, everybody? Next week, episode 50, the 1 year anniversary of the Sports Bros podcast.
5-0 is
Oh,
coming.
Lord.
5-0 is coming.
Yeah, the good 5-0. The good that you want to see. Wait a minute. I feel like a kid before Christmas. I can't wait to open the presents up. But guess what, though? You get a front row ticket to the party that is the Sports Bros Podcast. You got any closing words, fellas, before we take off?
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you to my bros, to the listeners. So
don't be knuckleheads. Keep
right. And
do
better.
Do better.
And do better.
And
right.
Lay off the weed.
And then closing, do something nice for yourself and do something nice for someone else. They'll greatly appreciate it. Also, wash your hands and cover your mouth when you cough. Don't be nasty. Be nice. It's been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast.
And you don't get sick drinking Corona. If you drink 12 of them, you might get sick, but it's okay.
Yeah, you might throw up. You might get toe up, but you ain't going to get sick. You know, it'll last for about 24 hours. All right, y'all. See y'all later. See you next week.
Fade out.